In this section, we will see what is an API and generic examples of using and recognizing APIs. First of all, what is an API? API stands for Application Programming Interface. It is a boundary that exists between software systems so they can communicate with each other. So who creates an API? Well, that depends. Let's say that we're building an application that is using these software system services, and two things may happen there. This software system was created by us, so we are going to build this API. Or this software system was created by someone else. In that case, a vendor or a third party must create the API and make it available to us. Just a note here, given there is free software out there, there are some APIs that are publicly available and free to use. For instance, the Document Object Model API is free to use, and it exists and it is built within our browsers. And we can also need to pay on other occasions in order to use someone else's software systems and therefore someone else's API. An API is usually documented and given as a set of instructions. For instance, an instruction that does something and another instruction that does something else. For instance, let's say that we are using a mathematical API, so the instruction set could look like this, or maybe we're using a user interface API where the other software system is helping us drawing stuff on the user screen. The API can look like this, or maybe we are building a business application. In this case, the API may look like this. We can classify APIs also depending on where the software system that we want to use is running at. For instance, if the software system that we are using is running at our same computer, we can call that local APIs. Example of local APIs are, for instance, OpenGL or DirectX. There are APIs that help us create fast graphical applications. These are known as library APIs. There are some other user interface APIs that are running in our browser. For instance, the Document Object Model API will allow us to interact with HTML elements. If the software system that is publishing these APIs is running in a remote computer, in a server, we are going to call these APIs remote APIs. There are several types of these. We are just going to name a few. We can have remote procedure call APIs, or RPC. We can have remote method invocation APIs, or RMI. And we can use representational state transfer APIs, or REST. We are going to go into detail of these remote APIs in the following session. This is a summary of what we saw in this session. What is an API? API stands for Application Programming Interface. It is a boundary between software system given a set of instructions. We can use APIs in several ways. For instance, there are function-based APIs, object-based APIs, and HTTP-based APIs. We can classify APIs depending also on where the software that is publishing these APIs is running. For instance, we can have local APIs, for instance, library APIs, or HTML-based APIs, for instance, the Document Object Model API, or we can have remote APIs, for instance, remote procedure calls, remote method invocation, and REST APIs.